No, we don't do that here. We do not do that here. Hello, 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 welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I am Jessica, and of course this is my channel. Okay, as you can see from the title down below, we're going to be talking about how to get out of the fear of judgment mindset. This is so important. If you want to overcome the fear of judgment, you have to get out of the mindset, overcome the fear of judgment, live an amazing life. Before I get into the video, follow me on my social medias right here as usual. TikTok, Instagram, JessKuma. That's where you can find me. Send me a DM if you want to chit chat. I'm available. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to talk to you, okay? So let's just get started. Okay, the format of this video is basically going to be like in tips. So I have 4 tips to help you get out of the fear of judgment mindset. The first tip is that you need to remember that the current mindset you have, it is temporary. It is not permanent. When you're living with the fear of judgment, I lived with it for years. I know what it feels like. Sometimes you can feel like, oh, this is my life forever. Like you don't see any light. You're just like, oh, this is how life is going to be like forever. I can't change. I'm always going to be living with the fear of judgment. And that's just simply not true. It may seem like there's no end to this misery, but the truth is you need to like literally tell yourself that what I'm experiencing right now is temporary and I will get out of this. I'm going to change. This is not how my story ends. And once you do that, once you actually like it clicks in your mind that this is just temporary, it's not a permanent situation, you have some like hope, you see some light at the end of the tunnel, you know, there's some faith, there's something that makes you say like, okay, I can actually overcome the fear of judgment. When you're keeping this permanent mindset, first of all, you're giving up on yourself because you're just like, oh, I'm living with the fear of judgment forever, nothing's changing, boom. That we don't give up here. Me and you, we don't give up here. And second of all, basically you have like you've just lowered your standards to nothing, you know. I made a video about standards, talking about like how to raise your standards, keep your standards high. It is very important. And like in this situation, if you're just like, okay, I'm living with the fear of judgment forever, this is my mindset, what are your standards? You should be setting high standards for yourself. It doesn't mean like you have to be like, you know, the prettiest in the room, the most confident, whatever. But at least if you have some standards, you have something to work up towards. But if you're gonna let yourself live with the fear of judgment forever, no. We don't do that here. We do not do that here. Something literally shifts in your brain when you're like, okay, this is for now, this is not forever. And this doesn't just work with the fear of judgment mindset thing, whatever, but personal development in general. It works with a lot of things. Let's say you want to get out of a toxic household, right? Okay, so you're gonna get a job, start a business, whatever. Have some income coming in, whichever way you decide to do that, okay? And then you're gonna save a little bit, and maybe your goal ultimately is to move to the next city, downtown, whatever. Okay, but maybe the first step you have to take is to move in with a roommate, save some more money, move on to the next step, which is like a place downtown you want to live. Not everybody's ideal situation is to live with roommates. Some people want that, some people don't want that, but it's just a stepping stone. But when you're taking that stepping stone of living with roommates, you know that this is temporary, this is not forever, this may be like a year or 2 years, whatever it is, but you know that ultimately you have this goal of living by yourself in a city downtown, and that will happen. When you're living with the fear of judgment, it is so crucial to switch your mindset from, oh, I'm going to be living like this forever, to no, this is temporary. The second tip is that you have to actively get out of your comfort zone. Not jump out of your comfort zone, but start to do things slowly that will get you out of your comfort zone. I always say you cannot overcome the fear of judgment while living in your comfort zone. The two just like do not correlate. For you to overcome this mindset, you literally have to start doing things outside your comfort zone or nothing will ever change. And leaving your comfort zone slowly is way better than just staying where you are for the rest of your life. There is literally no need to jump out of your comfort zone. For example, let's say you want to be a content creator. I'm going to literally use like my life as an example. Okay, let's say you want to be a content creator. You want to start like putting content online, whatever, on social media, okay? And that scares you. You're living with the fear of judgment. You're scared of what other people are going to think about you. You're scared of how they're going to perceive you. You just have this big fear of judgment in your life. You're living with it, okay? Let's just choose a platform, TikTok, because TikTok. Okay, so you want to start posting videos on TikTok, but as I said, you're living with the fear of judgment. So the way to jump out of it would be to basically start posting videos, boom, whatever. But you know that here we don't do that because we care about our minds, our brains, our body, our nervous system. We don't want to put ourselves into shock. For some people, they are more likely to reach their goal doing things slowly. I think actually for most people, like a lot of people, they try to do everything so fast, get to the end goal, and then something happens, they get scared, they back away, and then they just shut down and give up, and that's over. But if you're doing things slowly, you know you're taking micro steps and you're always going up. Okay, back to my content creator example. So first thing you're gonna do is download the app, and then you're gonna start to create videos. But you can make your profile private. There's nothing wrong with that in the beginning. Once you start making these videos, you start getting used to the camera, you start getting comfortable in front of the camera, and then maybe, not maybe, but obviously, down the road, you make your profile public instead of private. You've been using the camera for a while, you're used to the camera. This is literally a real example of getting out of your comfort zone slowly. I truly don't believe that you necessarily benefit from doing the scariest thing on your list, you know? I think you can still do the scariest thing on your list while taking micro steps. And at the end of the day, it's still the same. You still have the same goal. You're just approaching it differently. You're approaching it in a way that actually makes you feel more comfortable, more safe in your body, and doesn't like alarm your nervous system being like, oh, what are we doing? What's going on? I'm in shock. I was so scared of this. I'm living with the fear of judgment. There's just too much going on. You don't have to make things complicated. And the more that you get out of your comfort zone, the closer you are to overcoming the fear of judgment. The third tip is that you need to realize that people do not care about you the way that you care about yourself. You care about yourself the most, and your thoughts are so real, so true, that you believe everyone else is thinking those thoughts about you too. And you know what that is called, ladies and gentlemen? That is called projection. I say this with love, but people just do not care about you the way that you do. You care about yourself the most, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing. But it doesn't mean that your thoughts are what everyone else is thinking about you too. When you are projecting your thoughts onto other people, it is not fair. Because let me tell you something, everyone cares so much about themselves, about how the world is gonna perceive them, about how they look. You think people are like just sitting down there thinking about whatever insecurities you have that you're putting on yourself? No, that's just not how it works. We just live in a world where everyone is their own main character, right? Like the main character of my life is me, the main character of your life is you. So when I have these thoughts about myself and I think everyone else is thinking these thoughts about me, it's not true. They're thinking thoughts about them. I literally made a TikTok talking about this right now, like about getting over the fear of judgment mindset. And I was talking in the video and I was saying like this tip, basically how people care about themselves, whatever. And I was like, oh, just like this pimple here, that la la la. I just pointed it out, just saying like, oh, if I'm focused on this, doesn't mean that everybody else is. Somebody literally commented, I'll actually just put it on the screen here. They're like, oh my god, I didn't even see that pimple. I'm like, this is exactly the point in my video. Like, I see it. I don't care, obviously, because I'm making the video, I'm posting it. I don't live with the fear of judgment anymore. Sorry. Like, I'm not gonna not make a video because I'm breaking out because I have a pimple. I have literally like 4 there. Whatever. But it was just so funny. I'm like, this is literally the point of my video. Like, nobody cares. People can't even see it. Like, oh my god. I really do feel like this tip is the foundation of overcoming the fear of judgment, because once you realize that people really do not care and like you're just like projecting onto them your insecurities, whatever, then you're like, okay, I get that. Then you change your mindset from permanent to temporary. Like, okay, this is just lasting for now. I'm living with the fear of judgment for now. And then you actually slowly get out of your comfort zone. What more do you want? You are literally on the way to overcoming the fear of judgment. Amazing. Because like there's literally millions of people, or I'm whispering now. There's literally millions of people in the world that will just decide to live with the fear of judgment forever. And I know that every single person watching this video is not included in the million. We're in the opposite direction, the opposite end of the spectrum. We want to actually live an authentic life and live life the way that we want to, and not just say, oh, you know what, fear of judgment wins, I lose, I give up. No, like, please, no. The last tip is stop comparing yourself to others if you want to overcome the fear of judgment mindset. Literally, we all know this, but comparison is the thief of joy. I went through a period in life where I was comparing myself so much to other people, and you know what that did for me? It literally did one thing for me. It made me judge myself even more, which is completely unnecessary. Like, you do not need to be doing that to yourself. Not one good thing comes out of constantly judging yourself and constantly putting yourself down. Sorry, it's just the way it is. For those of you who don't know, I am a registered nutritionist, but I don't practice in the health field anymore. But before becoming a nutritionist, when I was still in nutrition school, just about to like graduate, getting ready to start my online business and stuff, my main focus was helping women heal their relationship with food. So before this, I would look at some food freedom coaches online, people who like also help women with their relationship with food online, looking at some dietitians, just like people, health coaches, you know, people in the health field who help other people to work on their relationship with food. And at this point, I'm like, you know, about to graduate school, almost about to graduate, whatever. Even like after I graduated for a bit, I was deeply in a comparison phase, like just comparing where I was to where they are. And it was just a mess. It was just a mess. And at this point in my life, I actually had a business coach. She was like a spiritual and business coach. And we were talking about this, and I was telling her how I'm comparing myself to other people. And she was just saying how like, it's obviously not fair, but also like, we got deep into it. She's like, okay, literally, who are you comparing yourself to? Because it was always like 2 or 3 people. Like there was a lot of people, but 2 or 3 people I would like deeply compare myself to. And we kind of just got into it, and it really made me realize that I'm comparing myself to a dietitian who's been practicing in the field for like over 5 years. Like there is a disconnect there. Like what is going on? It's not fair to me. It's not fair to her. She doesn't obviously know that I'm doing this, like the dietitian. But the real question is, why am I doing it to myself? And it kind of just makes you think, because obviously this person has learned a lot more than me, which is fine. It's like, that's just how life is. People are on different levels of learning. And obviously this person has had their business for longer than me, and my business was nothing at that point. So it's just like, it's not fair for you to compare yourself to other people, especially when they've been in the game for a long time. Or you know that quote where it's like, don't compare your page 1 to somebody else's page 100. That's literally what was going on. But sometimes like, you know these things, but this is why I always say having a coach is so important for like whatever you want help with in life, because hearing what you know from a different perspective and someone literally telling you directly, if I remember correctly, I literally think that same day I just stopped comparing myself to others. Everything was just like, oh, I just don't need to do that anymore, because it's just not, doesn't do anything for me. And I also kind of had like a little mindset switch in this as well, because my comparison and jealousy kind of turned into inspiration. And I kind of just had to tell myself that like, I'm really just looking at proof at what I can do as well. And knowing that like, this is possible. Knowing that I can have a successful health business online. Knowing that, oh, if I want, which I didn't do obviously, I could go to dietitian school and learn even more information. Because there's something about like how I remember, this is so funny thinking about this, how this person was like saying these terms in a very scientific way, which I knew these terms because I learned about it in school. It's hard to explain, but it's almost like this person knew what I knew, but the extended version, right? So when I like would go to her Instagram page and I saw the extended version, I'm like, oh, well, I only know like the base knowledge of this, and then whatever, right? But thank God I had a coach at that time, because you know, like when you're constantly comparing yourself to others online, it doesn't do anything good for you, and it just puts you in a down mood more and more. Another thing is, if you are comparing yourself to other people, you need to stop putting them on a pedestal. Like, y'all are equal. Okay, this person knows more information than me. Okay, this person has been doing it more than me. Okay, this person like whatever is blank more than me. That doesn't matter. Who cares? You don't have to see them as like a god or like holier than thou or just like up on a pedestal. No, you guys are equals, and you can be inspired by this person, which will help you to learn more, know more, do more, whatever. At the end of the day, it's like, how do you really expect to overcome the fear of judgment if you are judging yourself? On a final note, I want to say that once you do overcome the fear of judgment, because I know you will, the amount of space that frees up in your mind is actually insane. Like, it is really unreal, because you realize that 90% of the time you spend your time creating narratives in your mind about, you know, people judging you, you judging yourself, how you speak, how you look, how you talk, how you walk. And like, it's just too much. When that space frees up in your mind and you no longer like operate like that, you're just like, whoa. I always say it's literally a new life. You do not have the same life you had when you had this fear judgment mindset. If you have the fear judgment mindset right now and you're living with the fear judgment and you want to find a way to overcome it, but you don't know where to start, I made a guide. It has everything in it that I wish I knew at the beginning of my journey. Because when I was living with the fear judgment, nobody was talking about it like this. Like, at least I couldn't find anybody. Yes, I watched a few YouTube videos, but nobody I knew was literally like breaking it down for me. And this is obviously not my first video I've made on this topic. I'll put some videos up here and I'll put some videos in the description box. But I made a guide and it has everything you need to know to overcome the fear judgment. Literally, it's a step-by-step breakdown of exactly how to overcome the fear judgment. The information in there will help you overcome this mindset that you're living with right now. So if you want to grab that guide, there will be a link in the description box down below. Literally, like, my holy grail. My holy grail. I'm just gonna show you guys it right here, but it's not just like how to overcome the fear judgment. As you can see, that's like one chapter of it. It's really like, you want to know what the fear judgment is. Where does it come from? What is it protecting you from? There's so much stuff in there. It is literally jam-packed with information. And if you go through the guide and you read it all, you follow the steps, you are going to overcome the fear judgment, no doubt about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. Truly, truly. Don't forget to follow my socials. I just spat. Don't forget to follow my socials. Here's Instagram and TikTok. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.